They don't fear Allah because they rely on Allah's mercy. We get that. How do you explain fearing this individual?
If you fear some,
can you explain?
Because if he tells
all right, you know what?
If he tells you,
you know what I'd like to ask you. Can you explain Allah fear, the term fear, and another individual? How can an individual...
People fear individual every day.
Okay, now this in itself...
And those are the people that don't fear Allah.
So exactly, that don't fear Allah, right? Well, there you have it. So he's encouraging people not to fear Allah. You just said it yourself.
If.
Hey, there you go. There should not even be an if. These are your followers, right? These are your followers. Aren't you supposed to be taking them to paradise?
If
didn't you say your sheikh took them to paradise?
Exactly.
Exactly.
If they fear the sheikh, they will follow everything the sheikh will ask them to do. And the sheikh will,
let's go over that a little bit now, shall we? Let's talk about what he has, so far had them do. Okay? First of all, he has given them the understanding that he is literally, and understand this carefully, he has the ability that Allah himself has. Because he goes to the court, what they know as the court of the Prophet, where you have decisions that are made all the time about things that are happening right here in between us. He goes there and he is able to get certain concessions. He is able to get things done. And if you look at the White Hawk, it talks about the qasida there and how you fly out of your body and you go see all of the seen worlds. And you also see all of the unseen worlds, and you land with all of the other devoted talibs and talibas at Lahut al-Mahut. So you have to know what you're trying to defend. I understand you are a great, thinker. I respect and appreciate that, but there are certain things that you cannot defend.
Like what?
You cannot defend falsehood. If it's false, it's false.
What is false?
How in the world can you say that you will travel out of your body and go to all of the unseen worlds? How can you say that? Explain that one.
How not? Is it impossible?
That's not the question. The question is, if you really believe that, can you simply explain it? That's the question.
I mean, the Prophet when see God, can we explain that? No. But is it possible? Yes.
So the Prophet ﷺ is a prophet. He is a chosen one. He is the selected one. So I think we should put the Prophet ﷺ, he is not in our category. He is a prophet of Allah. He is the seal of all prophets. You have to understand he's rahmatan lil alameen.
But Allah,
and
anything
we can,
Allah can do anything.
This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not you or me. Okay? So the point of the matter is, again, think about it. If you leave your body and you go to all the unseen worlds, do you know what that also means?
What that means?
I will give you a moment to think. All of the unseen worlds. All of the unseen worlds. I'll give you a moment to think. You're a deep thinker. Go ahead.
What that means? I'm asking you.
That means hellfire too.
So they might show you hellfire.
You want to actually think about what you're saying before you get into the last position that you will not be able to get out of.
I mean, God created hellfire.
God created hellfire as a punishment.
So
We are to be.
look,
Hold on a minute.
God can get
Just
can get you to see the hellfire.
Just wait a second. Understand this. Seeing hellfire as you're talking about is as if you're not fearful of hellfire. Are you fearful of hellfire? No. You're not fearful of hellfire. So there we go. I mean, it's proof.
Because I know I'm not gonna go there. So I'm not scared.
So there we have it again. We hear the TMOA Jilani Islam member claiming that he knows for a fact he's not going to go to hellfire.
I'm not a member.
Therefore, he doesn't even have to claim to be a member himself. He claims to be a deep thinker, follower, apologist. And he says that he knows he's not going to go to hellfire. All of the undermining, he's claiming to refute that. He's saying that, yes, people could go to hellfire by reading the Qasida Ghawsiyah, which is the White Hawk Qasida.
I didn't say, what I'm saying is, God, by His power, can show you.
Let me read this. Okay, so here's the Qasida Ghawsiyah. All right, so you have to understand, already what the issue is. Subhan ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I don't know how, but here it is. It says Qasida Ghawsiyah, Flight of the White Hawk. Amongst many Sufic people, however you want to call them, like, students and utterances, there are some which are well known for generating profound love for Almighty Allah in the heart. So we're going directly to the heart of the talib. Moreover, certain qasidas, which are epistles, he claims, generate vast stores of hidden energies contained within the forms of alphabets. Now, let's just back up and say qasidas in general, not necessarily this specific qasida. Like, he's not mentioning any specific qasida. Qasida is just a poem. You understand? So he's not saying that this is a particular qasida or a specific qasida relating to the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing like that. He's just saying qasida in general. Energy along with spirituality of related faqir. Okay, this was actually a name that they took and then said no longer. Faqir or Sufi, which enables a talib to leave his body along with the mentor, whoever that it may be, and fellow talibin, and thereby arrive at the sublime holy court of the last messenger of Allah. Peace and blessings be upon him. Therefore, from beginning to end, this epistle marks a guide route, a flight path for spirituality of a true seeker. During this journey, seekers come across many secrets which they do not disclose in the physical world. Is that much of a secret, guys? The Prophet ﷺ went to, he ascended to the Sidratul Muntaha and everything. Allah Ta'ala put it in the Quran for all of us to see. But these folks here, it's a big secret, my friend. All right? You're not supposed to tell anybody about that type of stuff, and nobody's supposed to be understanding what it's all about either. Right? So they go into a physical and spiritual created world and enter La Makan, situated in Lahutul Mahut or Lahut, where they very often see a golden white hawk under whose wings they continue there, right? In the ascetic flight in the heavens of Lahut, where eventually they find their destination. Close companionship of Allah, the Most High and His beloved Messenger Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Isa, Jesus Christ, the son of Mary, Moses, Ibrahim, alayhim salatu wassalam. This hawk is the spirituality of Hazrat Abdul Qadir Jilani. Okay? Almighty Allah has used His tongue to invite people to Him. Has used whose tongue? Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani to invite people to Him. Why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have people worship Abdul Qadir Jilani? Huh? Or is He saying, maybe He's saying, what you probably would stand up for Him and say, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using the tongue of Abdul Qadir Jilani to call people to Islam? Maybe? Is that what you're saying? I don't want to go back and forth about it here, but I don't think you have a leg to stand on. It was all here and you didn't know that it was here. So I think this is sufficient for us to, but before I forget, all right, when you come across all these secrets which they have disclosed or which they do not disclose in the physical world, and then during such flights, seekers leave their bodies and cross all the realms of physical and spiritual created worlds. That's the point here. You mean to tell me that if you go maybe halfway and not complete this whole quote unquote journey, then you've obviously lost the purpose of it. But when we look at the actual intoxications are mentioned, for whatever reason, I became intoxicated. Serve me with a cup of union. Becoming ordered, or I ordered the wine to advance towards me, which it did. This wine and this intoxication is not something that the Sunnah is okay with, or the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They did not like this discussion of wine and intoxication. So I think you've lost your case, and that's why you can concede to that, right? Yeah, I think that's why you're silent. Silence is acknowledging the fact that you've lost. Thank you everybody for listening in. That was the end of the session, and we will try to pick up next time. Wassalam.